Today is Mother's Day, so here is part one of the episode that my mother and I filmed. The second part will come out on the regularly scheduled Tuesday. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Rediscovery Journal. This week I have, if you couldn't tell by looking, my mother. She's here from out of town, actually. Thankfully, she came to visit me all the way in Texas. And I know how I said I was going to start doing like intros, but I'm doing like a new format where I'm filming on a completely different surface. And so I don't necessarily have the means at the moment to do a normal intro. But
that means
it's like the beginning of the episode to say like, and you would say that. No, but I mean, what I'm trying to do is have it consistent, so every episode would have the same like, welcome back again. But I don't
welcome back again.
Anyway, so Mother's Day is actually coming up this next weekend
Sunday.
when this was recorded. And so this is going to be kind of like the Mother's Day episode that I'm going to be releasing.
Mother of all Mother's Day episodes.
So I thought we could maybe talk a little bit about family, the importance of a relationship with your mother, and kind of growing through both parenting and
being parented.
Being parented. Yeah, that's a good way to start. Actually was at an event for like interviewing a few weeks ago, and they talked about the importance of knowing your skills. So I'm gonna have us fill out a very quick like skills assessment thing where we're gonna decide on what skills on the sheet we think we have and then compare. We're gonna have to narrow it down to 10. So I'm gonna like obviously edit this so that y'all don't see the whole time that
What if I have more than 10 skills?
You have to narrow it down. Most people have more than 10, but you have to pick your top 10.
Top 10, my favorite 10 or my best 10.
So there's that. Here's a pen.
That's gracious. That is a skill.
Okay, that's not very kind to people who pick that. So
you know what? If you are into administration, good for you.
So go ahead and fill it out.
My strategy is to pick 2 from each column. I might not be able to do that. My skill would never be social media. I think it's great for people that are, but like I wouldn't even know what to send. Oh, I thought we were just going to go down the list and read them. I got to write them out.
Well, you're supposed to pick more than 10 and narrow it down to 10.
Oh my gosh, I only want to pick 10.
Well, don't know what to tell you.
I have to write stuff down.
I mean, you can start or something so that you know what your top 10 are.
For things that definitely are not my skill.
Okay. I forgot you did it the wrong way, so I'm done and you're not.
That's not very kind. For all you people out there that aren't done, show her a little grace. Competent? Wonderful. Have any of the same ones.
Well, that's the whole point of the top 10 is to see if we have any of the same top 10. And then we can also say if we agree.
Ooh.
If there's one that you put down that I don't think is accurate and vice versa.
Wow. That can be kind of harsh. Okay. I think I'm
okay. You got it? Okay. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first? So
are we going to name only the top 10?
Yes.
Just want to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay. So I put problem solving, coaching, honesty, follow-up, action-oriented, team player, directing others. I put that for your dad because he would say I do that quite well. Hardworking, moral, and ethics.
Okay, so we have 3 of the same.
Oh, cool.
So I have perseverance, empathy, coachability. So the other side that you had coaching.
You got that for me.
Team player, openness, ethics, hardworking, adaptability, integrity, and loyalty.
Very nice.
Yeah. Cool. Interesting. Now, another note. So we had Chinese food tonight. So I thought it would be cool if we opened up our fortune cookies and read our fortunes.
How are we going to do the thing where you say in bed afterwards?
No.
I thought we did that. I guess you can add that out. I mean, we would never do that anyway.
No.
And mine were like 1,000 little pieces. I like this. Go ahead.
Mine is keep true to the dreams of your youth.
Soon, you will be sitting on top of the world. And what does yours say on the back? Mine says June, which is my birth month.
Mine says store.
They're tasty.
What? God, let's try.
Cheers.
I'm going to wait for you to finish.
So you don't get chompy. I don't blame you.
Okay, so motherhood. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So, have you always wanted to be a parent? I guess that's a good way to start. Be honest. If the answer is no, that's okay.
I think I always saw myself as a parent. I didn't think I would be a parent, but I saw myself as a parent. Like I wanted to be a parent, but I always thought that I was probably not going to get married and that I was going to be like the spinsterly elderly aunt to my siblings' kids, I would be like, old lady Christy who like buys them books and stuff for holidays. But yeah.
I'm similar, except for I have no siblings, so I'll just be the old spinster who talks to the walls.
Or maybe you can be the old lady for your friends' kids.
Yeah,
If you
that
don't end up having that. But I think
that works too.
I think you can have kids. I mean, you have Blue right now. He's a great start.
He's basically a child. Yeah.
He is.
So the first note, how prepared do you think people can be to become a parent? Do you think it's something you can actually prepare for?
No. I think that's why God gives the baby to you as a little baby so they don't remember all your screw-ups.
How do you think being a parent has changed you?
I don't know if it's just being a parent or being older. I think I'm a little bit nicer. I think I'm a little bit more patient. Um, Gosh, it's been so long since I've been a parent. I don't really remember not being a parent. I think you have a love for something that's more than you. Like up until you were born, my birthday was always like a big deal. And my birthday's 3 days before hers. And then when you were born, like I still like my birthday, don't get it wrong, but it wasn't a big deal. Like your birthday was the big deal. And that was the like super, super duper really exciting thing to see you open presents, see you with your friends, and to see you get excited about having a little party and stuff like that.
It's very good an itch.
She's crying.
Outside of parenthood, how do you think that you've evolved and changed over the years?
Well, that I do know that I'm a much nicer person. I'm much more patient. How's your dad put it to me before? I think that I'm just a nicer person overall, that I think a little bit more about others. I wasn't really taught. I mean, I had siblings, but I don't feel like I really would share very well. Like in high school, my best friend, Cheryl, God bless her, she would go and like get a candy bar and she'd give me half. And, I'd get a candy bar and I would think about giving her half. Now I would give her half. And now I'm embarrassed to admit that, but I don't even think I realized it. I think one day she pointed it out to me like, yeah,
That's
like,
embarrassing.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you don't even realize like how selfish you are sometimes.
Do you think that the older you get, the more you like gain perspective and you're able to see things from other people's point of view?
A little bit better. I mean, I don't think always, but I try to. So I don't know if it's easy to, because I don't know that you can ever really understand what another person is going through unless you've been in their shoes. I think you can think you do, and you can say, oh, well, if I were such and so, I would do this. Especially when I was younger, I would spout off about that all the time. Oh, well, if my husband did this, or, my sister did this. Well, that'd be it for her. But then you get older and stuff happens and you realize, like, oh, wow, I didn't actually know what the hell I was talking about. Because, then you have to make a tough decision. Are you going to be, jerk, or are you like, okay, well, this is something you can work through and communicate through, and it's not as big of a deal as maybe it sounds until you've lived through it.
I'm going to change the topic a little bit. How difficult was I as a child?
You were incredibly stubborn. And see, the thing is, like, I was always afraid to like spank you or anything like that. So I think that made it harder on me until I saw the show The Nanny. Oh, the naughty corner was great. But for instance, like sometimes you would just get in your head. Well, for instance, your first birthday. I decided I was going to let you pick what you wore for your birthday pictures, thinking of course you would choose, but I wanted you to choose. And no, you chose like the loudest outfit around with like big pieces of vibrant fruit all over it. And I just wanted you to wear this like little cute pink dainty dress, and you would have no part of it. And I would be like, oh, honey, don't you really want to wear this? No, once you made up your mind, man, there is no going back.
So I guess that's where the fruit obsession started.
I bet it probably is. I'll have to find those pictures. God bless you. Yeah, it probably is now that I think about it. Well, we owe it all to, I don't even know whoever bought the outfit. I'd like to take credit, but it was probably your dad, because he's always liked more vibrant colors and such, whereas I would be, the dainty dress.
What is your favorite memory of being a parent?
Okay, so I don't know if you really want me to talk about this. Look how scared she is. But when you were little, there are a couple things. First of all, sometimes you'd get a little pouty and you'd want something, and you'd be like store at the aisle, and we'd be like, "We're not getting it," and you would stand there and you did this little thing where you like stick your knees in and out, not really throwing a fit, but like we knew you weren't happy and kind of stomping a little bit, and then we would just go to the end of the aisle and like, turn the corner, and oh dear God, I just would pray that you would come, because I was trying to be really, I was terrified you weren't going to come or somebody would steal you, but you came. And then the other time is when you were little You used to sing and dance with me down the aisles at the grocery store. That was another thing that I really liked to do.
No, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
No.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we would really put on a little show.
Oh gosh. That's probably where I get it from. I mean, I don't do that at the grocery store now, but
Maybe. I like to ask you like bizarre questions like, would you rather be an elephant or a chihuahua?
yeah, I know that. That's been a running theme.
Yeah. Oh, just little things like that. When you were so little, oh my gosh, when you were just a newborn, I just remember holding you. And first of all, I never knew babies could do this, but I had her like this. All of a sudden, she just throws her body backwards. Thank God I caught her because she would have hit the table. So that's when I knew, like, oh, this child has a mind of her own. Like that was day one or day two. And then I just remember like holding you and looking at you and thinking, like, all you know is love right now. And how lucky you were, because that's all that you knew. Like, you didn't know someday somebody's not going to like you because of your hair color or you are short or tall or whatever. It was just, and then I thought, like, not every kid knows that. Like, even as a little baby, they're not going to know that,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of sad.
Yeah. I mean, I know for me, some of my favorite parts of myself are attributes that I got from you, or a lot of things that you have are attributes that I hope to grow in the future. You're very strong and you fight for what you want. If someone is rude or inconsiderate to you, you don't just accept it. I am not very good at having that kind of stance sometimes. I'm trying to work on it, but I really admire that strength to be able to say, that's actually not okay, instead of just kind of ruminating in it and letting that cycle continue.
I understand what you're saying, but sometimes that can be taken to the extreme. And sometimes you're so, like when I met your dad, I had a lot of walls up around myself just to protect myself. And so, he would come out and like help me carry groceries in. And my response to him would be like, nobody broke my arms. I don't need your help. What are you doing out here? Now I pull up and I'm like, toot toot, where the hell are you? I'm only buying groceries. But I was just, I don't know, I was so worried about letting somebody in or maybe letting somebody hurt me or depending on somebody and then getting let down. So I like the sweetness that you have in you. And I wish that I could be a little bit compassionate, maybe more sometimes.
Do you think that once life events happen to you, it kind of shifts your ability to let people in?
Yes, I am both positive and negatively, right? So I mean, like, yeah, I mean, your dad's my best friend. I don't have a ton of friends. Like, I have people that I talk to that I like that are nice, but like, probably my two sisters, you and Mitch are like my best friends, and they would know pretty much anything about me. And a lot of other people, like, I might share things about myself, but it wouldn't be the kind of the essence of who I am.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense. I especially feel like the older you get, the more you start to realize who in your life values you for who you are and who in your life is just there out of convenience, or they want to be friends with you because you happen to be around.
I mean, there's some of that. You and I talked about how, like, you meet people, for instance, maybe that you work with, and you spend a lot of time with them, and you think, like, wow, we are tight as can be. Nothing could ever break that bond. And then, I changed a job, and all of a sudden, like, that person's not in my life anymore. Or maybe sometimes they are, but it's just different, or like, I've had, really close friends where I just thought the world of them, and then you change and they change, or maybe they move, or now all of a sudden, they're off and they have a family of their own, and that's their priority, and your family is your priority. So there is something to be said maybe for the convenience or closeness aspect versus the now you have to make more effort. And sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't, and sometimes you look back and wish, like, oh, I really wish I would have made more effort, or I wish I would have shown more grace in that moment with that person because I didn't. And sometimes you just can't come back.
I mean, I'm a really big believer. I know everybody doesn't believe this, but I'm a believer that it's never too late. So if you have those moments where you feel like you miss someone, why not reach out? It's not going to hurt anything most of the time.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I see where you're coming from, but and that's kind of where your sweetness and your tenderness comes from. Because for me, I'm like, well, I haven't talked to somebody in 5 years, and all of a sudden I'm like, hey, Betty, how are you? I mean, Betty's probably going to be like, I haven't heard from you in 5 years. Why are you bothering me now? And not always, but you're putting yourself out there now, risking that you're going to end up getting hurt and rejected.
I mean, that's true. It's just that you don't always know what other people are thinking, and you could be missing out on an opportunity where someone might be having the same feelings that you're feeling, but not have that courage to reach out. So you don't know. Maybe Betty is sitting around thinking, I really wonder what Christy's up to. I wish that we were still in contact, but maybe she has the same reservations that you do. And most of the time, someone has to be the one to make the first move.
I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, again, that's where we differ. Like, you're willing to make that leap, and I've been burned so many times by, people who just don't like me because, I'm too happy, or I'm
I've
too
been told that
perky,
before,
or,
so.
my hair is natural, or just stupid stuff. Or, in some cases, maybe I thought I was helping the person, but I really hurt them. And even after I apologized, it didn't really matter.
And that I think goes a lot back to like impact versus intent.
Mhm.
You could have good intentions, but that doesn't mean it impacts the person with that light. And also, sometimes I feel like perspective plays a very big role into things because depending on where someone's state of mind is, they're going to take the intention differently.
Yes. Yes. I mean, like, if I'm not feeling good about myself and then you send me, maybe I feel like I'm really heavy and then you start sending me all these pictures like, look, this person lost 50 pounds.
I did not do that.
No, but I've done that kind of thing before, thinking, oh, I was inspired by this story. I'm losing weight. Maybe Sally will be inspired by this story too. And I really ended up crushing Sally by doing that. And Sally didn't tell me the first time, like, I don't know why you're sending me this stuff, but stop. Instead, like, months probably went by and I was sending Sally all these stories that I thought were like so inspirational for me. And finally, Sally's like, what the hell's your problem? I'm up to here with you. Why do you keep sending me this stuff?
I just didn't want people to think that I'm sending you
No, no.
propaganda.
I don't think it was propaganda though. It was things that, I was in a path in my life and I found it helpful. So I just thought, if
Everybody.
I find it helpful, Sally will find it helpful too.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't. It hurt her.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's why boundaries play a very big role. Because if you're honest with someone about how you're feeling from the get go, then miscommunication might have not gotten to the extent that it did.
Yeah. If the first time I sent it, Sally would have been like, why are you sending me this, you weirdo, or whatever? Like, I don't appreciate this. I never would have sent it again. But I even was sharing it with my sisters, and they were like, oh, yeah, this is awesome. I want to do this too. And so, I just treated Sally like I was treating my sister without regard to how Sally might be feeling, just thinking what I thought would be good for Sally.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard, and you can always look back on things with regret, but you can't change what occurred. You can only learn from it.
That's true.
And try and do better next time.
That's
Or try and just be a little bit more self-aware about the impact that different things have towards different people. Because everybody has their own level of sensitivity as to what upsets them or triggers them as well. And I'm like, unless people are vocal about how they're feeling and what they're feeling, you can't always necessarily know or be able to pick on that yourself. Thank you for tuning in for part 1 of the Mother's Day episode. The next episode will be released this coming Tuesday, so I hope that you tune in.